Hello, everybody, and welcome back. This is Harry from Keep It Real. Like I said, from my Transformers review, I'm coming back to do a video review on the Flash movie that just came out this past Friday. Uh, Let me tell you, this movie is not doing well at all. And like I said with my Transformers review, a whole bunch of movies that just came out recently, uh, they've been coming out back to back to back, and none of them are doing very well. The only movie that I think that did well was Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, and I just think that's because it was the last one for James Gunn, and I think people are just going to see it because it's the last run with this cast and directors. I think they just went to, flood the theaters, but overall, these movies are not doing very well. These supposedly blockbuster movies are not doing very well this summer, and it's just now Super Mario Brothers is doing well. I didn't do a review on that because I fell asleep. I'm sorry. I'm not a big Super Mario Brothers fan, so I actually fell asleep in between it. So, but that movie's it's doing like 1.3 billion dollars, so that movie did fantastic. But besides that, nothing is doing very well. And this week, Flash took over the theaters, and they took because they pushed Transformers to one theater, and every other theater was the Flash or Elemental, and Elemental's doing crappy. But I'm not gonna give too many spoilers, but I guess this is a spoiler review because I can't help myself. I like to give my review first. Uh, so this movie, what I do I like it? Let's say this: I liked it, and I don't like it. I liked it for some of its parts, and I hated it for most of its parts. The storytelling was all over the place. Some people say it was fine. Nah, you could tell that so many people was involved in this movie. Too many hands in the kitchen. This movie was produced back in before COVID time. And then obviously between that time till when it's released last week, too many hands were touching it. It was first the Hamada verse. Actually, even before Hamada came on, uh, when DC was this was Flash was supposed to be out when Zack Snyder's movies were out because he created the character. He created this iteration of this Flash character, and they were gonna do a spin-off from it. Another party came in, took over, and changed it. That's the Hamadaverse. They changed it, and then came in the Warner Brothers Discovery came in, and before James Gunn was head of DC, they were going to bring back Henry Cavill, uh, Ben Affleck, Gal Gadot, the original guys to be part of the universe. That got changed when James Gunn came in, and we got what we have here. And you could see the pacing of it, the changes that happened within the movie. For some people, it worked. For others that know the background of it, like I do, it didn't work because I see what were they trying to do. They were going one direction, and in between there were cuts, and you could tell the pacing was actually pretty decent. It's just that that you could tell that they put in stuff that did not belong. The first, I would say, 10-15 minutes when they had Ben Affleck in it with the chase scene in Gotham was pretty cool. Then Barry came and starts rescuing the babies that was falling out of a hospital. Oh my god, that was the worst CGI ever. That's one of my complaints. The acting was the good part of it. The CGI in this movie was horrendous. They just came out with a few interviews these last few days, and the director says that the CGI was meant to be this bad. It's supposed to look this way because he was in the Speed Force. That's a lie. They re-edited this movie, and then they got cheap and didn't want to spend any more money on the CGI. And let me tell you, CW's Flash had better CG than this movie. Oh my god, it looks so bad. The baby scene in the beginning of the movie where the Flash is rescuing babies, those babies look so creepy. They didn't look real at all. It was so bad. It felt that's what takes you out of the movie. some of the musical choices they used was horrible. It didn't fit. It was thrown in there. It was like, that was a James Gunn influence, you could tell. There was a Barry Allen butt scene, James Gunn. Dick jokes, James Gunn. And people are going to say, no, it's not. Yes, it is. Trust me. He loves those type of jokes. It's stupid. It's immature. It didn't fit. You could tell it didn't fit. The movie had a purpose. I'm going to get to that shortly. And it's really, the story is really simple too. But it's about time travel, so that could get complicated. But still, musical choices, not good. Way too many jokes, like I said. Silly comedy, unnecessary. The story was, whatever the case may be, Warner Brothers and DC at one point in time, they were so messed up. They don't know where they're going. This movie got caught in the mix of people not caring because James Gunn comes out last year saying that he's rebooting everything. Like I said in one of my videos, why would anyone want to go see these movies when he's telling everyone that I'm rebooting everything? Nobody's going to see these movies. And why would you? These movies mean nothing. It doesn't. It doesn't tie into anything. I'll get to that later. Okay. You could tell that they're trying to change everything with this movie. The old regime hated Zack Snyder. For whatever reason, they didn't like Zack Snyder. Even though Zack Snyder's movies made money for the studio. Money is what they lived by, but they didn't like it. They didn't like money. I don't know. They wanted high critical acclaim. Who cares if you're making the money, right? We're talking about superhero movies. You're not going to get great critic response. Yes, the Joker made it, but Joker's not really... the Joker isn't a comic book movie. It's a movie that puts comic book characters in it as its lead, but it's not really a comic book movie. That's why that made as much money as it did, because casual fans went to see that they didn't need to know who he was. There was no flying Batmans. There's no, there's nothing. It was a mentally ill person, the Joker, and that was the movie, so people saw it. But the old regime tried to change Zack Snyder's visions, and they changed it big time. They used this movie as a way to change the whole thing, and they did. They totally did. Now, like I said, this movie was heavily influenced by James Gunn because he wants to build a universe around this. And honestly, I've read somewhere too that basically he's trying to make the DCU into like a MCU 2.0. That's what this movie is. It's an MCU 2.0. It had the same silly jokes as the MCU uses. This movie could be right there with Thor: Love and Thunder. It has serious moments, has stupid moments, has silly moments, have jokes. The exact same thing. That's the problem with this movie. It had so much potential. It had potential to be the greatest superhero movie out there because the subject matter, what they brought back, was awesome. They lost their chance of making this a good movie. Here we go. I'm gonna go with the plot and everything. Barry Allen is working with Bruce Wayne in the beginning of the movie. He helps this Bruce Wayne and Batman is Ben Affleck's. He's in our I'll call it the DCEU world, and he and Batman save the day, which is a cool scene because we get to see Ben Affleck as Batman again, which is cool. Barry Allen, the Flash, learns that he can actually go back in time and change things. His father got accused of killing his mother, and obviously he didn't. His mother sends the father to buy a can of tomatoes, and somehow someone got in the house and they killed the mother. Barry goes back in time and puts a can of tomatoes into her shopping cart, so now the father doesn't need to go back to the store. The father's home, they have the can of tomatoes, no robbery, she lives. While changing time, he's in the Speed Force. That's how he changes. It goes back in time, back and forth in time. He was changing it, and somebody pushes him out of the Speed Force. Now he's in the past. He's in 2013. He bumps into his old self. He teaches the young Barry, which is quite annoying. That the young Barry, who was played by Ezra Miller, was so annoying that you want to kill him because he's so annoying. But that's Ezra Miller, right? He's playing two roles. In order to be that annoying, you have to be a good actor. And being he annoyed the crap out of me and everyone else that watched it. So makes him a good actor. Now he teaches young Barry. He gives him the power of the Flash. Zod from the Man of Steel. Zod comes to Earth and wants to take over. He needs help to fight him. He goes, let's go find Batman, because there's no other Justice League member around. He finds Batman, and now, since he changed the time, he changed the universe, everything has changed. The Batman is Michael Keaton's Batman. Keaton, for what he did an awesome job. I think he actually helped the movie as well. That's the potential. He was there. There was some silly stuff going on, but if you remember back in the day when Tim Burton's Batman, there were always little silly scenes, but I think he helped the movie. I think Keaton has become a great actor. He's in his older age, he's become a pretty decent actor. Okay, now the Flash, the two Flashes. Barry lost his power, but he gets it back. They have to go rescue a Superman who they thought was a Superman. It's Supergirl. People love Supergirl. She was not in the movie long enough for anyone to love. I don't get why they say they love Supergirl. She did such a great job. How did she do a great job? She wasn't in it long enough. Literally, she was in it maybe 15 minutes. Her fight scenes were minimal. It was, you put someone in a suit and everyone's like, oh, I love her. She didn't do anything. I don't get it, but to each their own. But if she was in the movie, like from, everyone could say, I love Michael Keaton's Batman. He did a great job. Yeah, he was in the movie for over an hour. Sasha Calles, yeah, she did do a good job for 10, 15 minutes of the movie. This movie was they took elements from Flashpoint. If you know the Flashpoint storyline, the person they held prisoner was supposed to be Clark Kent, Kal-El, but they changed it to Supergirl's character. With that said, they break Supergirl out. Supergirl helps Barry get his power back by taking him into the sky, gets lightning strike. Now the four heroes goes fight Zod, who wants to take over the world. They find out that they cannot beat him. Every single scenario they go to, they lose. The young Barry goes, let's change time. He goes back into Speed Force, starts changing time, goes back, they lose again. Go back, now there's Speed Force. Now the rest of the scene is in the Speed Force. CG, horrendous. Every single thing they were trying to show, they try to show cameos of other Supermen. Christopher Reeve Superman, George Reeve Superman, Nick Cage's Superman, which is ridiculous. They didn't show Henry Cavill's Superman at this point, because they showed an earlier scene from like Zack Snyder's Justice League when he was in the Speed Force, and that was it. They didn't, I don't know. You would try to show the most recent Superman, right? But they didn't do it. That's they're trying to show that all the worlds are colliding together because they keep on changing time so much. The person that was in the Speed Force that actually got the older Barry to get stuck in this timeline happened to be the young Barry. He got so crazy with trying to change time because he knew his mother was going to die that he became this Black Flash. If they were going to use that Black Flash, or a Savitar, or a guy a Barry that is trapped in time that wants to fix things, they should have used that character a little more than just put him in the end as a surprise. Surprise! He's the bad guy. He's the guy that caused everything, and then he stays there for what, 5-10 minutes, and he's gone. Because you had a potential of using him throughout the movie. Make him come. Look what they did with the CW Flash when Savitar was around. That was a Barry. Spoiler: it was another Barry that was trying to change things. With that said, they could have done the same thing. Put him in it. Put him in the storyline. Instead, they just jumped him into the Speed Force. He was in the Speed Force trying to change the same time, trying to help Supergirl, Batman change, to win the fight. But he kept on losing. Finally, they figured out the only way to stop this is young Barry had to die. He sacrificed himself since the young Barry becomes this Dark Flash. He sacrifices himself. Young Barry dies. Dark Flash disappears because young Barry is the Dark Flash, so they both disappear. The Flash says, I can't change this thing. I can't change time. I can't mess with time. I'm going to go back and fix it. So how he changed time in the beginning was he gave the mother the can of tomatoes, so she didn't have to go send the father back to buy a can of tomatoes, so she wasn't home alone. He takes back the can of tomatoes, and this time the man does not get it. Barry, you can't change anything. He changes something. He changes the whole tomatoes. Instead of having it on the bottom shelf, he puts it on the top shelf so the cameras could see his father purchasing the can of tomatoes. So this way, he doesn't get charged for killing his wife in the future. Now he goes back to the supposedly the present, and his father is exonerated. He gets freed because Barry changed history, and the camera sees him buying the can of tomatoes, which was in the original timeline. The can of tomato was on the bottom shelf. He moved it to the top shelf, so now the father had to look up to pick a can of tomatoes up, and then the camera saw his face. So now they know that that's his alibi. The mother still dies, but the father wasn't there to kill the mother, so he's free. But Barry obviously changed something. What he changed was at the end of the movie, Batman calls, or Bruce Wayne calls, and out, instead of Ben Affleck, instead of Keaton, out walks George Clooney. Why? Who knows? This was someone actually said that it was probably going to be George Clooney as a joke before the movie came out, and I guess Gunn read it. Maybe, I don't know, because why would you even put the worst Batman on film into this movie as Bruce Wayne? It was ridiculous. It was stupid. Should have never done it. So George Clooney, basically the Flash is stuck in George Clooney's world, or George Clooney was just pulled into our world, or whatever. He's the new Batman. From what I heard from James Gunn, he's not going to use him. I'm like, if you're not going to use him, why are you just doing a gag for? This is what I'm talking about. Stuff like this is stupid. It was silly. This movie has so much potential, but instead of using that potential, they went above and beyond stupid. It was that. This is why this movie is doing bad, because the true reviewers are out there saying that this movie has potential, but these scenes just takes you out of it. And I've been reading online and stuff. There were 3 endings to this movie, or 3 potential endings to this movie. One of them happened to be supposedly Michael Keaton was supposed to be the Batman, and Supergirl was supposed to show up in the end. Another, and that got cut out because Discovery came. Warner Bros. Discovery came. Warner Bros. Discovery wanted to bring back the Ben Affleck and the rest of the guys. So when they came around, they had Henry Cavill, Gal Gadot. I think Supergirl was supposed to be there as well. I'm not sure Michael Keaton or Ben Affleck was supposed to show up. But nevertheless, even if it's Michael Keaton showing up, and I think Ben Affleck's Batman is trapped in another world, is what they say, that was another ending. And then they had this one, which is completely ridiculous because George Clooney, why? He was never even in the movie. He was not even talked about. It's ridiculous. They brought him in for a gag. It was a gag, and didn't work. No one cheered. Why would you cheer for George Clooney? Everyone hated Batman and Robin. The movie was horrible. He was a terrible Batman. He apologized for playing Batman that way. And let me tell you, the end credit scene. What was it for? We had a drunk Arthur Curry, Aquaman, and Barry telling him, every world has a different Batman, but you're the same Aquaman. Is that trying to tell us we should all go see Aquaman now? James Gunn already ruined that movie because he already said all these movies coming out this year probably mean nothing because he's rebooting next year. Or whenever the writer's strike is going to happen. So, long story short, would I recommend this movie? Watch it on video, watch it on streaming. Don't go to the theater. It's not worth it. You're going to be disappointed. If you're a casual fan, the movie's going to get confusing because you're not going to understand the characters. You're not going to understand the Speed Force. You're not going to understand why he's doing certain things and how he's doing it. Save your money. Don't go to the movies to watch this. And I'm a DC fan. I'm not a Marvel fan. I watch MCU movies, but my daughter watched it and she hated it. It had a lot of potential and they ruined it. The music in this, I can't believe, out of all the choices of music they used, only one scene, and it was a somber moment where Barry shared with his mom in the supermarket scene right before he takes the canned tomatoes back. That was the only time I heard the music used correctly in this film. They didn't have a good Flash theme song that was building you up throughout the movie. If they did, I didn't even hear it. They used the Batman theme constantly when you saw Michael Keaton's Batman. Why? Just to show that Batman is around, old Batman is around. We know he's around. But yeah, the musical choices in this movie was horrible. The movie, I can't say the movie was terrible. The movie had its problems, has a lot of problems. Would I go see it? No. Do I like it? Somewhat. If you saw it and you liked it, let me know down below. I could be swayed and change my opinion because I like the movie for lots of it. I enjoyed a lot of parts of it. There's just a lot I didn't like. The CG was horrible, but yeah, if you did like it, leave a comment down below. Tell me what you liked about it. Tell me if you saw it. Leave a like, subscribe, leave a message down below, like I said, and let's see. Maybe my next movie or next show will be better than what I'm gonna be watching with this one because I can't take this one anymore. Give me some recommendations to watch. I don't know what I'm going to do next for a video. Maybe I'll do the Witcher review. I'm not sure. But keep on watching our channel, and thanks for subscribing, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.